Welcome everyone to project 16.2, optimization of the hydrogen production schedule and the strategy of power trading. My name is Joel Cook, and today I'm joined by Mayra Izquierdo Montoya, Abdullah Thabet, Yobany Cabrera, and Maria Turrubiartes. Today, we'll be introducing our project, discussing the approach we took, reporting the applications that we identified, and providing a summary of our project. Next, Abdullah will introduce our project.
Thank you, Joe. The background here gives us a brief history of the Cali State LA Hydrogen Station. The Cali State LA Hydrogen Station was opened on May 7, 2014, as the largest university hydrogen fueling facility in the nation. The station had made a number of remarkable achievements. It was recognized as the first hydrogen station in the world to sell hydrogen fuel by kilogram directly to the retail customers. How is the hydrogen produced at the station? The station capable of producing hydrogen from sources mainly being water and electricity. The main process known as the electrolysis process, where water is split into hydrogen and oxygen, then the hydrogen compressed and stored in the station. The station has maximum storage capacity of 60 kilograms of hydrogen. What are the benefits of using hydrogen as a fuel? The benefit of using hydrogen as a fuel can be in two major categories that are consumer benefit and environmental benefit. The major consumer benefit is a healthy living environment as a result of decreased emission into the atmosphere, which directly have influence on the human health. The environmental benefit comes as a zero emission utilization to gasoline, which is the main source of fuel. Now I would like to move to project significance. The project significance role starting from hydrogen production and utilization with the campus. Successfully achieving the goal of the project will minimize the cost of producing hydrogen fuel and allowing for additional profit realized from the station to utilize elsewhere on campus. The project will offer alternative application of hydrogen fuel within the campus. This will increase the demand of hydrogen, decreasing the production cost, and as a result, motivating others to consider going green with the hydrogen. The application of hydrogen will also reduce tailpipe neutrality. The project will help moving the step closer to carbon neutrality as indicated in the Climate Action Plan. To reach an operational carbon neutrality by 2040 and full carbon neutrality by 2045. That leads me to my next point. What are the project objectives? The project has three major objectives that include: first, collecting and analyzing data regarding hydrogen production and sales. Second, to create an algorithm that will optimize the hydrogen production schedule to minimize production cost. Finally, identify and incorporate potential hydrogen fuel application within Cali State LA campus to minimize environmental benefit and increase the hydrogen fuel utilization. Now I would like to the performance requirement. Completing this project will have answered three main questions that are an optimized process of the hydrogen station. First question, by how much hydrogen fuel production cost be reduced? Second question, how many kilograms of hydrogen per day can be utilized for potential application? And finally, by how much do new application of hydrogen on the campus after affect the production of cost? Now Maria will discuss approach in the project.
Thank you, Abdullah. To answer these questions, we received hydrogen sales data from the station. So we also found out that the source of electricity for Cal State LA is provided by LADWP. And on the table to your right, you will see that LADWP, because we are a commercial area, has different rates depending on time and depending on time of year. So there's high season and there's low season, and those are the months. And then there's different times of day. So some of the challenges we faced was that we had no production data, and we also didn't have any electrical metering data. Assumptions we made were that the electrolyzer was functioning per every consumption. So whenever there was a customer fueling, we assumed that upon the customer fueling, the electrolyzer would kickstart and replace what he consumed right after the consumption. The electrolyzer, we also assumed that the electrolyzer was functioning 24/7. Some of the data analysis that we gathered were most hydrogen fuel is sold between 9 and 4 p.m. And this was important because we realized that this is the time where it's most expensive to produce the hydrogen. So currently the station produces to maintain full storage capacity, but that is not necessary. So we also found that the hydrogen fuel sold on weekends is very little to none, and that's when it's cheapest. Some key points were that for every kilogram we needed to produce, we would consume 62.5 kilowatt hours. We also know that that we can produce 2.4 kilograms per hour, and that the max daily production is 58 kilograms. With all this data we gathered, we developed an algorithm that would help optimize the production of this hydrogen. And to talk about this algorithm is Mayra.
Thank you, Maria. To start, I would like to give you a breakdown of the setup to the algorithm. The main parameter that is being optimized is the cost per kilogram of hydrogen. The fixed constants to our calculations when optimizing are based on the electrolyzer limiting capabilities, such as the energy consumed and its production rate. Alongside of that, the constants are the electricity cost and the kilogram of hydrogen sold per day. To optimize the costs, 3 tiers were created as alternative timeframes to produce hydrogen, where tier 1 is the lowest cost and tier 3 is the highest cost of the 3. If conditions for the tiers are not fulfilled, then the only option is to produce business as usual. This algorithm will then output a file where cost and savings will be shown in form of dollar and dollar per kilogram of hydrogen. Now let's go over the algorithm development. The algorithm starts with importing the raw data, but to be more specific, the date and time and kilogram of hydrogen filled. Due to some missing information, it was assumed that the electrolyzer turns on after every sale of day and remains on until maximum storage capacity is reached. Since the system is dependent on the electric power grid, it was important to then separate sales data between weekdays and weekends to calculate the cost of electricity consumption. The total daily kilograms sold will determine whether it will fall within 2 different production scenarios, one being business as usual and the other being the optimized production tiers. Lastly, the algorithm will be calculating the monthly total kilograms, the total cost and savings in dollar and dollar per kilogram of hydrogen. The figure to the right represents the optimized production breakdown for a weekday. It is divided based on electric rate seasons, low season and high season. The green areas are safe to always produce. The blue depend on the tier, and the red frames are always avoided. And the next slides, I will be going to detail for each season and the tiers. So to start off with low season falls in the months of January to May and October to December. As seen to the right, tier 1 is the only tier that qualifies during these months, since it's solely based on the base pay electric rates and fall within the timeframes in the green regions. The red regions are the same price and are a lot more expensive, so we try to avoid them. If the total kilogram of hydrogen sold for the day is less than 33 kilograms, which is the total in the green, it can be produced during tier 1 category, where the kilogram of hydrogen possible to produce is calculated based on the electrolyzer's production rate. Next, I will go over the high season. Now, high season falls within the rest of the months of the year, which are July to September. As seen to the right, all tiers qualify during these months, where tier 1 are the same as in low season, since it is during the base pay period timeframes. Tier 2 includes both the green region and the bottom blue region from 5 to 8 p.m. Tier 3 includes all green and blue time of day regions, where a maximum total of 48 kilograms is possible to be produced during these tiers. As I have mentioned earlier, these maximum kilogram of hydrogen are based on the electrolyzer's production rate. If for a given day, the total kilogram of hydrogen sold was more than what can be produced by the tiers, then the algorithm will calculate as if it was produced as business as usual. Now, Joel will discuss algorithm results.
Thank you, Mayra. In this next figure, we see the monthly production cost for the time frame that was analyzed. Blue shows the production cost for business as usual production throughout this time. The orange shows the optimized cost using the tiers that Mayra discussed. As you can see in this figure, the algorithm resulted in consistently less expensive monthly production costs versus the business as usual production scenario. The average production cost from normal operations was $3.38 per kilogram. Using the optimized schedule, this resulted in $1.03 per kilogram, which is an average savings of 69% for this time. In this figure, we see the production cost per kilogram for the months analyzed. Blue shows the cost per unit for business as usual production, and orange shows the cost per unit for the optimized scenario. The table at the bottom shows the totals from this time period. A total of 3,966 kilograms were sold. Using business as usual operations, this would have cost $13,400 to produce. And using the optimized schedule, it would have only cost $4,228 for a savings of $9,172. Next, we will discuss applications of hydrogen that could be utilized on the Cal State LA campus. Maria will discuss the first of two applications.
In 2016, Cal State LA created the Strategic Energy Plan, promising to make campus 100% alternative fuel. At this time, Cal State LA had 184 vehicles. Of those, 4 of them were hydrogen, 87 electric, 93 hybrids, and 6 gasoline. So our proposal says that we want to replace the last 6 gasoline vehicles with hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. For this proposal, we gathered information from the Strategic Energy Plan and the data of the gallons used by on-campus fleet. And we used these gallons to convert them into miles that were needed by fleet vehicles on campus. So once we got the miles, we converted then that to how many miles we needed per year for one single vehicle, and then grabbed those miles and checked how many kilograms we would need for the hydrogen vehicles. Some of the assumptions we made were gallons used and miles were the same every year. We also assumed that our gas-powered vehicles were equivalent to Honda Accords that would drive about 24 miles to the gallon. We also assumed the hybrid vehicles were 33 miles to the gallon, and the hydrogen vehicles were 82 miles to the kilogram. these were our findings. So we found that for every 1 vehicle of hydrogen, we would need 103 kilograms of hydrogen per year. That's at $16.51 per kilogram, which would end up being around 1,700 per year. If we replaced all 6 vehicles, it would consume about 620 kilograms, and this would total to about $10,000. So although this would be more expensive than the gasoline, we also receive a $15,000 fuel credit from the company when we purchase or lease any hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. And now I'll pass it to Yobany so he can explain the Wavecar application.
Thank you, Maria. Another application we looked into is to reinstate the CSULA Wavecar program. The Wavecar program will consist of the 4 Hyundai Tucson hydrogen EVs. They all have a tank size of 5.63 kilograms and have a drivable range of 265 miles. The Wavecar program will be available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. since the hydrogen station is manned between those hours and a staff member can refuel the vehicle between these hours. The Wavecar vehicles will be available for students and staff to rent. First hour is free and $5.99 for any extra time. Each vehicle is drivable up to 30 miles per trip. For the estimation of the hydrogen fuel consumption, it was estimated that the 4 vehicles in the Wavecar program will consume about 153 to 252 kilograms of hydrogen fuel a month. Assuming that each round trip lasts between 2 to 3 hours and that 3 to 5 trips will occur per day, which will cost around $2,522 to $4,163 a month on refueling. Another advantage of having hydrogen vehicles on campus is that the university can participate in the low carbon fuel standard credit system. This program awards CSULA with 1 unit of credit for every 250 kilograms of hydrogen fuel sold. As of March of this year, each credit is worth between $167 to $213. Based on the estimated fuel consumption of the Wavecar program, the university may receive at most 12 credits per year and 2 credits per year from the 6 hydrogen fleet vehicles. Joe will now discuss the effects of the additional hydrogen cells.
Thank you, Yobany. So we analyzed the average dollar per kilogram effect of adding additional hydrogen for the cost of the production at the electrolyzer. Since we don't have any fixed costs associated with the station, we analyzed solely the electrolyzer production cost. In blue, we see the average dollar per kilogram effect of adding additional hydrogen on the business as usual production. What we see is for each additional kilogram of hydrogen, the dollar per kilogram is reduced. Conversely, in orange, we see that each additional kilogram of hydrogen added for the optimized production schedule increases the production cost at the electrolyzer. The table at the bottom summarizes the additional production cost for the optimized schedule. As you can see, the each additional kilogram results in an average of 0.8 cents in additional cost per kilogram produced. Next, the team needed to know how much additional hydrogen was available each day to be sure there was enough for the proposed applications. During this time frame, there were 248 business days. The total amount of hydrogen that could be produced was 14,284 kilograms. We had sold 3,966 kilograms during this time, which results in a daily average hydrogen available of 41.6 kilograms, which is enough to accommodate both the applications proposed. In summary, the objective for this project, we collected and analyzed data provided from the hydrogen station. We created an algorithm that optimized the production cost. And last, we identified and incorporated potential new applications of hydrogen and determined the cost of these applications. The optimized schedule reduced the cost by 69% for the production between April 2019 and March 2020. Approximately 41.6 additional kilograms would have been available each business day during this time frame. And every additional kilogram of hydrogen sold results in an average additional 0.8 cents per kilogram for the optimized schedule. The team would like to thank Dr. Khodayari, Dr. Bleckman, Brad Heidel, the hydrogen station staff at Cal State LA for all the help provided for this project. We would like to thank Los Angeles Department Water and Power, and Southern California Gas Company for the information provided. Thank you.